Welcome. This is the monthly astrological tarot prediction for all the signs. So let's go ahead and get started here. This is for the month of October 2020. So, y'all, 2020 has been the most already. So I'm interested to see how October goes. Quite a few things in the U.S. election, new Supreme Court justice type thing. So let's see what's coming up. So what we're going to do first is we're going to go with Aries. Let me see what's coming up for you first, Aries. Two of Swords in October. So Aries, in October, you're going to feel a little bit bound. You know, October is the astrological opposite of you, because the astrological opposite and elemental opposite of you is Libra. So you're going to feel very bound. You're very independent, and you're going to feel the opposite, the shadow side of Libra, which is caught between two. Libra is about partnership, but this is caught between two ideologies, caught between two worlds, caught between two. And it's going to stress you out, Aries. And the reason why it's stressing you out is because Mercury is in retrograde, as well as Mars is in retrograde. And with these two things in retrograde, which is typically, our communication, our action, our passion, our ability to do things that you're actually really, really well at, with that being in retrograde, you feel very bound because the universe is saying to you, Spirit is saying to you, hey, I need you to look within and work on whatever is going on. But let's see what's next in the month for you. So this is something that you're going to be feeling towards the beginning of October. And then as that, beginning is continuing to go, you're going to start to feel like what's coming up for you is something that is that deeply hurt you in the past. So Aries, this is actually kind of mirroring your Libra shadow side. So definitely be mindful of things that are unconscious. All of this is coming off to me as something that is very, very unconscious, not something that you would typically see in your kind of like everyday, I'm being very conscious about life kind of thing. It's very, very unconscious stuff that's coming up, particularly during the beginning of the month. And then you have this energy of the King of Cups. So what he's reminding you to do is to go in and to meditate, to go in internal, to go in and do whatever it is you need to do to chill this stuff out. So this is a representation of internally some things that you may be facing that's coming up in October. And this is representing of how to fix them, honestly, how to make them better, how to make it so that like you can find the answer and take an action in the way that you love to take action, but it's going to have to be an internal action. And this is all about hard work, because at the end of the day, you're a fantastic initiator. You're great at taking an action. You're good at all of that. And whatever you do when you come to this resolution internally is going to deeply, deeply change how you approach the things that are important to you in the future. So, give it the whole month of October to see if there's something that comes up for you that is so profound that it's going to change. But you're going to realize this towards the second week. You're going to know in the first week, but the second week will give you an opportunity to really sit there and like work through it. And then, that second and third week, you're going to want to take an action, but really, I want you to just start to plan out the things that are important to you, because that's really what the universe is favoring right now for you. And then the Page of Wands, where it's talking about you going on a journey. You're doing this because you have the greatest intention of going on a journey. And I think I see that for you and towards the future, especially in October. So towards the beginning of the month, the reason why you feel caught in between the two is you feel caught between, your happiness and something else. Something else is pulling you and opposing you, and it's making you feel like you're getting farther away from what it is that you actually want from life. And then that comfort, yep. So all of this is a sense of comfort. Like something is pulling you away from comfort. So it's feeling like more like familiar, more friendship. It could be love too. It's really something that is like you remember the good times and then you remember the bad times too. So October is going to bring up a lot of these things for you in the month that you have to deal with. And so when you're going in and you're doing this introspective, you're doing this like internal work, understand that you might be a little snappy, especially towards the end of the month. You might feel like a little like on edge, because you're gonna be like very easily irritable because you're trying to work all of this stuff. Like you feel like you're being pulled between two worlds very often. And the Hierophant sends a message, and the Hierophant has been sending a message to all the signs this month. And the message is work with the universe, don't work against it. Especially Aries, it's gonna be tough for you not to want to take action, not to be external, but work with that. And towards the end, you're going to feel like, okay, what do I do next? You know, like, what do I do next? How do I know if I should work internally, or how do I know if I should work externally? It's not a bad thing. You're going to have everything that you need, but it just feels like, what do I do next? So towards the end of the month, I want you to think about what actions you can actually take towards having the life that you want, and to resolve any of these things that come up earlier in the month. So there's this delineation in between the beginning of the month and the end of the month. The middle of the month is giving a sense of like, I worked it out. The end of the month is like, okay, I'm preparing for what's next. In the beginning of the month, you're gonna start feeling are the things that bring stuff up for you. So Aries, I think that for you personally, I would say, you know, definitely be nice to yourself, feel connected to your energy. Know that you are equally as intuitive as you are anything else, action oriented, but you know your season is coming, so no worries. So the next we're gonna do is Taurus. So Taurus, let's go ahead and channel in some of this Taurus energy. Taurus. Okay, one card is definitely popping out. In the beginning of the month, the Chariot, you're going to feel a calling. You're going to feel called to do something this month. And it's going to be something that you feel, it's kind of like this sense of self-righteous, not in a negative way, but self-righteous in the kind of way that you're like, like, I know I have to do this. Like, this is something that I have to do, and I honor myself by doing that. So pay attention to the beginning of the month. It's definitely going to come up then. And then the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands is who actually sent you this kind of feeling of like, I need to do this. She is letting you know, like, hey, if you all of a sudden feel this crazy motivation for something, it's because I'm sending it to you, and I'm sending it for your highest good. Taurus, you know that you are ruled by Virgo, so you love all things that are comfort and understanding and things like that. Even though you can be very, you're ruled by Virgo. You are not ruled by Virgo. You are ruled by Venus. You can be very stubborn, but you enjoy the comforts, and the Queen of Wands is sending that energy of comfort. And then towards the middle of the month, you have the King of Wands. So this is actually going to be an October for you, Taurus, is going to be an action-packed month. You're going to be doing a lot. Like the way that the universe is kind of set up for you, the way that Spirit is calling, is that you have some actions that you need to do, and it's going to work well for you during this time. While other signs might feel a little bit of stagnation, you, Taurus, will be actually able to prosper in taking actions, because there's something you need to do at this perfect time. Towards the end of the month, you're going to have a new journey you're going to go on, especially when it comes to work. So it's making me feel like something that you feel about your sense of security, whether that is work or whether that is just self-esteem as a whole, something about that is coming up, and you're going to go on a new journey. I think that you're looking for a job. I feel like you're looking for a new job, and you don't typically want to just get up and hop jobs and things like that. It's more like you're looking for something that makes more sense. You want something that is actually more secure than things have been before. And you're just like, ugh, not trying to do any of that other stuff. Again, your Venus energy is coming up, the Lover's card. So you want something that is passionate, But this also represents the passion that you experience for another person. So you're aligning yourself. You want a sense of security in both money and love in October. So this Libra energy that's coming up in October is going to make you feel like you want that, because Libra and Taurus are both ruled by Venus, and that's why you're able to do things this month, because that is your ruler. So you're able to complement what's going on here. And at the beginning of the month, you're definitely feeling this judgment. So what it is for you is you want to be judged based upon your consistency. You want to be judged based upon all the things that you have done prior. And you feel like the outcome of the month will be determined by how hard you have been working. And the Eight of Pentacles is, again, a reminder of the Page of Pentacles, that you really want to protect the things that you value. You want to protect the sense of feeling secure. And the Three of Wands is talking about this journey going outwards. You're having a lot of wand energy. And also the Three of Swords, which is a common theme that's coming up in October. This might clash a little bit, the Three of Swords and the Lovers, because it might be you finally have to face, especially towards the end of the month, Taurus, something that deeply hurt you that you don't typically think about. But just understand, at the end, Ace of Cups is coming, and you're going to have this new, refreshed love. So this is what I'm getting. At the beginning of the month, Taurus, you're going to have this inspiration that comes to you. You're going to say, like, hey, I'm not afraid to be judged for, universe, for everything I've done. I'm ready. Towards the end of the month, or towards the middle of the month, in October, you're going to go on a journey, and it's going to require you to take a lot of actions, and the universe is supporting you on that. And towards the end of the month, you're going to be at a new place, especially with the Page of Pentacles, because you're going to be feeling like, I'm ready for this new thing. I'm ready for this new journey. And then you have the Lovers card as well. So that's indicating to me that you're going to have probably like a new kind of romantic love affair that's going to pop up towards the end of the month. So Taurus, I mean, that's actually pretty exciting. Think about it. Like, you have all of these, like, this month is usually like a very, very kind of slow, very retrograded month. But for you, Taurus, like, you got like all of this like nice, yummy energy happening. And I think that's pretty cool. That's really, really cool. Okay, so now let's go ahead and jump into Gemini. Okay, and also a reminder, this is for your sun, your rising, or your moon sign, or if you have a lot of this sign in your chart, your natal chart, this will be very, very helpful for you. So first of the month, Gemini, what you working with? You are working with the King of Pentacles. You want to work smarter and not harder. You're working with the Two of Pentacles. You're talking about having to find balance. You're working with the Seven of Swords. And the Seven of Swords is all about being cunning, especially about your mental thoughts. You're working with the Three of Pentacles. Again, the Pentacles are coming up because you're thinking about the hard work involved of what's going on in the month of October. Is the Six of Swords, using kind of like these bad habits that you may have had mentally, the mental stress, using that actually to your benefit to guide you forward. So that, to me, towards the end of the month, you're definitely going to be reflecting on things that maybe didn't work out well for you, so you can get somewhere better. And then you have the Page of Pentacles, which is coming up towards the beginning of the month, which is, it signifies that there's a huge journey that you are trying to go on this month because you want to change something about your financial aspect. The Knight of Cups is sending this energy that, like, you're like, okay, I want to fall in love with the things that I do. I really want, for you, with this Libra season, it brings so much love. And what you want is you want love in like what you're doing. It could also, represent a love of someone else, but you really want to be passionate about the things you're doing. And then the Six of Wands is like indicating that you should be at the center of attention, and you are trying to make a career move or trying to make a life move in which you are exactly that, at the center of attention. And then the Eight of Cups is talking about journeying forward, and where you're journeying is to a new place, to a new evolutionary step, to a new place where you do not feel bound, where you know that you are supposed to be, whereas before you felt limited in other places. This is the place you need to be. And then the Eight of Swords talks about you feel like you're bound, but it's actually more in your head than it really is in reality. So just know that you can free yourself from that. And you're probably going to have a realization at the end of the month that you're like, I can't believe that I've been doing this to myself. So Gemini, this is what's coming up. In the beginning of the month, you are going to feel super motivated to take on something big, something that you want to feel like is life-changing, or just things that are going to change your money a little bit. And towards that beginning, mid of the month, you're going to feel a newfound romance, and you're going to explore balancing these things. The middle of the month is like, okay, in order to be in front, I got to learn how to be cunning. And towards the end of the month, you're going to be looking at, okay, what can I practically do? How can I go forward? And at the end, specifically, right towards the end of the month, you're going to be asking yourself the question of how can I analyze the toxic behaviors or the toxic environments? This is giving me a very much so work environment. How can I analyze the toxic behaviors, the toxic environments that no longer serve my greatest good? So Gemini, that is what you have coming up for the month of October. A lot of very work focused, still a lot of passion. And this could also mean little flings, like little romantic flings or spurts of love for the person that you're with during this time, because as you channel your professional life, you unconsciously channel other aspects, including your like romantic life. So pay attention to that. So there might be some kind of short fleeting loves. I'm not sure if it's going to stick forever, but pay attention to that. So Cancer, let's see what you have towards the beginning of the month. The Queen of Cups, Cancer, you are all about like tuning into your energy right now. And this is what's going to come up at the beginning of the month of October. It's going to be sending you a message. Take care of yourself. The Star is talking about your hidden gifts, that hidden connection to all the things that you can do. The Hanged Man, and look, these are big cards coming up for you, Cancer. The Hanged Man is talking about feeling like you're in a bind, but not really. Knowing that you are actually in control. And then you have the Strength card, which ultimately is starting to come towards the end of the month, which is you realize your strength. And then the Tower card, some things are going to have to start to fall apart. Things that are no longer servicing you, things that you are no longer needing, things that just are not for you, Cancer. And then at the beginning with this Knight of Cups and this Queen of Cups, this kind of call or this pull to go internally within yourself is going to bring up this new feelings of romance. But really I'm thinking it's actually a person, honestly, and they're just going to treat you so loving and so beautiful. But then again, with the Fifth of Pentacles, that came up in your individual read as well. The Fifth of Pentacles is basically saying like there's something that's going to make you feel insecure, and you're going to feel tossed in between two worlds of like, you know, I'm going with the universe. I know to trust. I know how to be balanced, Cancer. I know how to do all of this. But it's just like your one insecurity makes you just feel not good enough all the way. So be mindful to not overthink it. And towards the end of the month, you're going to have this sensation of wanting to kind of be like left alone, honestly, which is coming up here. And then the Page of Swords is indicating that you're being pulled in multiple directions in the same way that you're in a bind. So towards that October 15th, you're going to be pulled in multiple directions. But, you know, take some time to go in and allow that stuff, find the strength to go in and take care of yourself and allow this other stuff to work itself out, because something's going to be thrown out of place, which ultimately will actually bring you happiness. So Cancer, towards the beginning of the month, you're going to feel this pull to go inwards and to work on loving and nurturing yourself, whether that's in front of people or not. And it's because you have some special connection, some special gift you want to share, but there's some type of insecurity that's coming up. Towards the middle of the month of October, you're going to feel not only upside down in a bind, but pulled in several directions, and it's pulling you in many ways. But what you should do is do what you do best, which is kind of like bundle up and be in your own like little cocoon. You might snap on people a little bit towards the end of the month, but really you're trying to protect yourself and you're trying to find your strength. Let whatever that weirdness is that's pulling you in multiple directions, let it dissipate so that you can ultimately find what brings you the greatest amount of love, the greatest amount of passion. And a lot of times it can be happiness as well too. So, Leo, that card actually just jumped out, but we're going to go into Leo now. Let's see what you're doing in the month of October, Leo, because that card jumped out and was like, hey, I'm here. So, so at the beginning of the month of October, Leo, what energy is coming up for you is this feeling of I don't even want to say mastery. Like you want to take a moment to go inward, and you know you need to. You know you need to take a moment to work on yourself. But I feel like that's not even encompassing what is really happening with you, Leo. You are like, it's time to level up, and it's time to take my studies to the next level. And Temperance is talking about, okay, balance. Balance that energy that's going to come up for you, Leo, because you know that you can easily get a little bit of a temper or a little bit of frustration, whether it's with other people, with yourself, of how things are going. So it reminds you of that lion roar, to be mindful there. And then the King of Swords is saying that this is a mind game, and you're so clever, Leo. You are such a center of attention. You're such a influencer, Leo, that you know that it's like, okay, even though it works works really well for me to be in front of people, I know that if I go inside, I'm going to be able to like master this. So you're going to learn some new stuff about the internal journey itself. And then towards the end of the month, you're going to start getting this energy of the Ace of Wands, which is something new. Something new is going to be popping up for you. Something new is going to really inspire you. And you're going to see it as, okay, I did what I needed to do in the month in order to get like this inspiration, this level. Ace of Wands is talking to the Seven of Wands and saying like, around October 1st, that something is going to come up for you, and then you're going to pay attention towards the end of the month, which is going to bring this new thing. But you're going to have to go through these things as well. And towards the end of the month, you might feel pulled in multiple directions, but ultimately there's going to be this new love, this new passion, this new thing that comes up for you, Leo. And what that new thing is really going to be expound in November. So this is what to pay attention to, Leo. Towards the beginning of the month, you're going to feel like, I need to level up. I need to center myself. I need to take my skills to the next level. And a part of your lesson is learning how to balance yourself. But at the beginning of the month, you also have this Fifth of Cups, like, I know I got to do the work. I know I got to do the work. And then you have the Two of Pentacles, which is mirroring the Temperance, which is the balance of two worlds. So this calling that you're feeling towards the second week of October is you're going to be called to balance your life in two worlds. Whatever those two worlds are, towards the middle of the month, you're going to get finally this understanding of like, this is a mental game. And then the Nine of Cups is like, you jump all into it. You're like, look, okay, I figured out that this is a mental game, and I'm literally about to jump all into it, and I'm not even going to think twice. Then you get down to the Ace of Wands, which is this new insight, which you feel like is a reward for learning all the lessons you did. And ultimately, it's going to bring you closer to what makes you happy. And the Page of Swords and the Ace of Cups, which is you're going to be pulled in multiple directions. But honestly, it's really just multiple opportunities, Leo, so that you can actually decide where you want to go or what you want to do next. So you maybe feel like you're being pulled in opposite directions, but it's not in a bad way. It's like you just are like given many opportunities, and you love an opportunity. So you will take advantage of as many opportunities as possible of whatever makes sense to you. So Virgo, let's go ahead and jump in with you. I already am getting this sense, Virgo, that this is going to be a tough month for you. Like things are just not aligning for you this month, Virgo. But let's see why. It doesn't mean it has to be like sad, but I just want you to be mindful of how things are coming up. The Six of Wands. So wanting to be in front of others, beginning the month with a bang, like, oh, I'm here, giving us all of this lovely like Beyonce energy at the beginning of the month of October, Virgo. But then you're getting into this similar issue that's coming up, which is the Two of Swords. And the Two of Swords is feeling like you're being split between two worlds. And for you, mental anguish is typically tough because you are so hard on yourself. So be mindful that might linger. And you realize that you have to go on a journey. So we got some cards that flew out for you. And then, yep, that's what flew out for you at the end of the month. Death and rebirth, as well as swords. That's why I said it's going to be difficult. And it's not that the universe is going to give you something hard to do. What's going to be difficult is you have to change. And you do not like a change in your routine. You do not like a change in how you've like perfectly, meticulously like put things in order for it to make sense and have a pattern, because you feel like if you have to do something new and reorganize these things, it's going to take a lot of time, because you don't half-ass things, Virgo. You do things to the fullest, and if you do it right. So that you're realizing that the universe is calling you to change, calling you to change something about yourself or the way you're approaching things. So in the middle of the month, you realize that you have to go on this journey. And towards the end of the month, the journey is asking you like, hey, don't feel like you need to plan it out. Just trust. Just trust it's going to work out. And your reward for that will be the end of a very tumultuous cycle and the beginning of something new, something exciting. So you have these two things going on at the same time. And then kind of like with your shadow side, you have very interesting things going, because you have to do a little bit of this magician work, which is trust, and do things in private, which you don't have a problem to do, to balance both the financial and the emotional aspect in order to get to the next journey and to go forward. So I feel your soul is going to be changing and your soul is going to be leveling up this month. And I think for you, Virgo, this is actually going to be a wonderful month for you when it comes to just feeling better. If you've had any like perpetual emotional stress, perpetual pain, perpetual hurt, perpetual frustration, this is the time to let it go, because that Libra energy is giving you everything you need in order to push forward. And this is actually going to be a gentle change, Virgo, but it's going to feel hard to you. You know, it's not going to be any big life hardships that pop up physically. What it's going to be is this internal whisper. And pay attention, because the universe whispers, and then when you stop paying attention, it starts to shout. So Virgo, that's what you have going on for you for the month of October. Just be very mindful of your thoughts, because we know with Virgo and Gemini, y'all both share Mercury. And what does that mean when you share Mercury? The Gemini is very overcritical of their thoughts, and the Virgo is overcritical of themselves, their actions, the things that they have done. So be very mindful here of what's coming up for you in this season, and be gentle. This is actually a very much soul connecting season for you. Okay, Libra, we are getting into your home season. How exciting, y'all. So Libra, we're getting into your home season right here. And so let's see what's coming up for you at the beginning of the month. Now pay attention to the fact that there's, you got the same thing going on as Leo, which is this bound energy. And I think this bound energy comes from this being your season. And with it being your season, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm super connected to everything that's going on here. And then you're feeling this feeling of the Eight of Pentacles. You want to protect you want to protect what brings you comfort. You want to protect what brings you joy. You want to protect those things. So that's going to come up towards the beginning of the month. And then towards the middle of the month, the King of Wands. So just like Taurus, you actually happen to have a wonderful energy this month that is saying like, okay, you can take some actions on this. Whatever you feel that is being threatened or not at the place of perfect beauty in the way that you like, you, Libra, can take an action on it and it's going to work out. And the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. So your pentacles are in reverse, which is, it's giving me a sensation of insecurity. There's some type of insecurity coming up. It can even be your money, you know, not being secure financially and wanting to make a change. And what came up in your individual read, Libra, was, especially for the first week, was that you're so good at making other people happy, even if it's at the detriment to yourself. And because of that, I think you got to be really, really mindful
of how you look at your sense of security because it's no longer working. Like what may have made you feel really good and really secure before, you realize like, okay, that might be a toxic behavior I can no longer live by and I need to move on from. And so the rest of your month, towards the end of the month, is the Knight of Pentacles, which is going on a new journey. But it's going on a new journey and paying attention to set a very strong and stern foundation down. Yep, a lot of Pentacles energy. And you're going to resolve this. I'm getting that you will most definitely resolve any kind of these feelings or these sensations of feeling uncomfortable. Okay, back towards the beginning of the month, there's going to be some ignited love. I'm seeing it as a romance. There's something romantic that's going to be happening. And this actually romance is going to be a long-term romance. It's going to be something that fills you both up. I think that you're going to find a person that you're going to be with and it's going to work out really well, or you are going to feel more connected to the person that you are in. And it's like it can be romantic or it can be past platonic. And what I mean by past platonic is that like it could be your boss, it could be someone that you just work harmonious with, a soulmate. And it doesn't always have to be romantic, but you just feel like this is like a best friend. Like you feel like, oh my gosh, I just feel so in tune with this person. And also you have this Sun card of just wanting to be out, wanting to be free. You feel tethered to people, but also wanting to be free. And a lot of planets being in Scorpio during your month is going to make you want to look at those things, make you want to look at all of those deep-seated things that are like really like not just holding you back, but holding you down. And the Ace of Pentacles is a call to be able to like go and have this new journey, this new sense of security. So towards October 15th, you're going to get a realization of how to change whatever it is you need to change towards the future. And just balance, because you know, Libra, you are relatable, you are nice, but when things are not in this beautiful aesthetic order in the way that you like, you can become very, very mean, very aggressive. And that's not typically a Libra thing. But with Scorpio happening, you know, you got to be mindful of the fact that that's an energy that's going to be different than yours, but it's just saying like, you got to have better boundaries with people. It doesn't make sense anymore to kind of like tolerate things that no longer work for you. And it's telling you at the end of the month, not only are you going to have the love that you want, but you're going to have this journey that you're beginning to kind of put together to go to the next level. So that was really exciting for you, Libra. This is your season. So happy birthday to the Libras. That's always fun, you know. And try to be nice to yourself, but this is really a leveling up kind of time for you, Libra, a leveling up of going to the next level. And something about your sun season, or if it's, you know, something else in your chart, is saying this is the perfect time where you feel most comfortable to level up. Whereas before you might be a little timid or shy or something, or you know, want to put somebody else in the mix with you. Like this is the season where you're like, nah, I'm a level up. I don't even care. So Scorpio, let's see what's happening for you. So in the beginning of the month, you're feeling this bit of indifference. And the moon comes out because it has to do with some like deep-seated secret, things that you do at night, things that no one knows about. Or it could be more of like a read of your feeling like, wow, you're getting frustrated at the fact that people are doing things by night, things that typically people don't realize, but you realize them, and you get a little bit frustrated by the fact that like, why can't other people see this? Like, that's the energy that you're getting right now. Like, why can't other people see this? But you have such a keen eye to see like bullshit and to see when people are lying that it's coming up. So towards the beginning of the month, you're feeling a little bit of like, okay, well, what do I do next? Like, what's coming next? You like to feel things deeply, and you like to be there for the underdog. You like to go on a crusade at times, but it's more of like you're not afraid to be hurt in order to find the light in the pain. You're not afraid to be hurt in order to find the light in the pain. And because you have that happening for you, you start to notice the things that you feel like are not just in the world. And towards the middle of the month, the Emperor card is sending this energy that you're like, hey, you know, I just want to do what's best. And I'm getting kind of like you're stuck between two worlds. You're stuck between what you feel like you need to be doing in your life and what in social justice. So this is going to be a very big social justice month for you, because it's like you realize that when you're in karmic alignment, the rest of the world is in karmic alignment. And sometimes you work on yourself, and other times you're working on others to become closer to said alignment. And so this is a time where you're probably going to be working on others. And then towards the end of the month, you're going to go on a journey. And this journey is something that you're going to be preparing yourself for since the beginning of the month on. And the end of the month, you find this sense of balance, connection, and like recollection. Like from the beginning of the month to the end of the month, you get this aha. You're like, okay, I understand why. Like, I understand why this needed to happen. I'm at peace with whatever this is. I kind of like surrender to this understanding, and I don't, you know, take it for granted. So that's what you're getting. Now, on your shadow side, you're feeling like, I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. Like, even though externally you're feeling a sense of indifference, internally you're like, I'm ready. You're living this duality of I'm ready to do whatever needs to be done in order to go forward in this path. And you're not afraid, and you're not afraid of putting the actions. And the Six of Pentacles is indicating that there's this exchange of energy that's happening. That's what this secret is like. It's giving me like a laundering of money, a cheating of money. So if you're doing something illegal, try to stray away from that, because you're going to start to feel like morally disconnected from it. But also, if you notice that in others, you're like, I hate that people are not their authentic self because they feel like they have to be paid to do something, or they're just doing it for the money. Towards the middle of the month, you're like, I need to do what's right. It doesn't matter what's popular. I need to do what's right. And you jump all into it. And towards that middle to end of the month, you're taking the moment to really like do the work, do the practice. If you have like, you know, if you're a healer, if you do some type of this kind of work, that you're going to be very active towards the end of the month, because your season is coming up next too. And also you're feeling like, hey, I just need to refresh my soul. And at the end of the month, you're going to get this balance and this understanding. But the Devil card, and the Devil card is not a precursor. The Moon card is the precursor to the Devil card, because the Moon is talking about things that are done in the dark. And the Devil card is talking about the things that you feel tethered to, the things that people feel like, you know, bound by, their addictions, their vices, all of these things. So you are no stranger to addiction, whether it is something you had to experience or something that you can easily see in others. And you realize that there is this balance. If you do not balance your energy, if you do not go in and do this work and be of the greatest like energetic kind of protection within yourself, you can easily see the vices come out within you or come out within, you know, the rest of the world. So basically, it's like you're reminded of a temptation that exists, you know, that is a perpetual temptation to want to kind of just come into the darkness. And the darkness can also be like a sense of depression, a sense of self-loathing, a sense of not feeling like you're enough, believing your inadequacies or things like that. And that's not at all, you know, helpful in general. But Scorpio, this is just really going to be a season where you get to make the choice of how you go about life. You get to make the choice of how you're progressing forward. And the universe will support you in your highest balance. The universe is going to be with you. So no worries there. Now let's go ahead and jump into Sagittarius. So Sagittarius, you are our teacher sign. You're also super fun and nice too. So you ever met a mean Sagittarius? At the beginning of the month, you're going to feel a little bit more reclusive, Sagittarius, which is hard for you because, this popped out, which is hard for you. And it's because there's going to be a loss. And the loss could just be happening, or something about this time period reminds you, Sagittarius, of someone that you cared about that is no longer there. And it's going to be this feeling of, it can be a pet, it can be romantic, it can be, you know, a family member. You don't typically do this introspective stuff because you just follow the universe and you keep it going. Like if someone transitions, you'll be like, oh, I can talk to them in spirit at any time. You don't really stay down. But the beginning of this month with Libra having that love and comfort, and planets in Scorpio showing that kind of like deep-seated pain, towards the beginning of the month, you're going to be definitely, because I was even getting a sense that this was going to be a tough month for you. You're going to be reminiscing about something lost that you truly cared about that is no longer there. Towards the middle of the month, you're going to get this newfound kind of feeling of like, okay, time to move on. Time to move on. It's going to be quite a bit of a feeling month for you, but time to move on. Time to move on to something else, something next, something go forward. And then, you know, you think about like, okay, so like, how can I be, you know, not just great at it, but how can I make sure, how can I better equip myself in the future so that I don't just have these moments, Sagittarius, of like breaking down and feeling like, oh, because you're not that. You're not someone who just wants to sit and break down all the time. You're someone who wants to live life and flow with the universe and be in a constant state of adventure and just like, you know, have all of these experiences. So you don't like to be held down. So that Four of Swords and the Four of Swords and the Eight of Wands is giving this energy of like at the beginning of the month, you're going to kind of be moving against the current. And that's really what is prompting you. Your natural energy wants you to move against the current, but that's what's really prompting you to have this kind of reflection. And the reason why is whatever's coming up here. And that's going to be towards the second week of October. And then you have, do your last two cards. Then you have this feeling of feeling bound, of feeling locked up, of feeling like you can't venture. And let me tell you something, Sagittarius. You love a good adventure. You are not one to not be adventurous. So you feel very kind of, because of whatever this is that comes up in the beginning of the month, you feel very kind of bound. And you're like, I don't mind doing the work. I don't mind putting things together, but really you just want to be free. You want to be adventurous. You want to go with the flow. You want to go with the flow of the universe. And you feel like some tough emotional things come up for you towards the beginning. And then the Ten of Swords is talking about a new journey, a new day, a new dawn, a new way of thinking. So you're being challenged here to think differently, because you can see that towards the middle of the month, by thinking in a negative way, you're not an optimist, you're not a pessimist. By thinking in a negative way, you feel really bound. And that just brings you further back to this feeling of stagnation or sadness. But when you open your heart and you just go forward, and you go forward with your thoughts too, and you are in control of your thoughts, you bring in a new opportunity. And towards the end of the month, you're going to receive a roadmap. Now, you're not going to be able to take an action just yet, but you will receive a roadmap of how to manifest this thing, this new thing that will bring life, that will bring a sense of security, that will be ultimately healing from what's happening here, Sagittarius. So very mental, very intuitive, very physical as well, but a lot of very much so a soul kind of changing. Your soul is elevating and your soul is going to a different level here. So be mindful of the things that are coming up for you in the month. You know, the beginning of the month, the middle of the month, and the end of the month. Okay, Capricorn. So let's see what our master organizer sign has going on for the month of October. Now, with your individual read for the first week of October, it was really looking like you're going to be, you're not going to have emotional breakdowns, but you're going to have times where you feel frustrated about like things not being able to be organized in the way you want to. But let's just see what comes up for you in the month as a whole, Capricorn. Six of Wands, starting out the month with a bang. Something was happening in September that kind of left you in good feelings and in good spirits. And then the Empress, a creation. You're going to be creating something new in the month of October. There's going to be a lot of creative energy coming your way, and also kind of bodying things. Like you are feeling a little bit more nurturing. Instead of like being very authoritative, you're feeling like a little bit more like, like, you know, I want to be protective over, you know, what is going on here more than I feel like I need to control or organize things. The Ace of Wands towards the middle of the night, towards the middle of the month is saying like there's going to be some inspiration. So pay attention to October 15th. I feel like you might receive some vision or some intuition that will tell you about this new kind of thing, budding thing that is going forward in your life. Ooh. And then she slid right on out towards the end of the month, Justice card. So if you feel like something has not been handled justly, just know that it's going to pop up and it's going to get its day in court. It really is. And it's justice in reverse. So something that hasn't been handled poorly in the past, but will actually get its day in court. It will be resurfaced. So hopefully it's not anything you did, but just in general, because you're like, look, follow the rules. And if you don't follow the rules, you're going to have to pay, you know, for the crime. So that really irritates you when people don't follow those rules. But just know, no worries, it's going to resurface. And then the Queen of Cups is going to bring this energy of like feeling whole, because this is a nurturing month for you, Capricorn. And I want to say that this justice represents that somebody wronged you, and you're finally going to start to feel like that it resolves itself, and then you're going to start to feel better. And then the beginning of the month is the 10 of Pentacles. So something that you did like in September left this month of October like in a really good light. Like, you know that you did something, you were able to provide for your people, you were able to do something that kind of like allowed essentially your family to eat. And you know towards the middle to beginning of the month that what you do, like everything you do is an exchange of currency. It's an exchange of energy. You know, it's a physicality. So you have mastered the concept of understanding that like, if I do this, I will receive this. I'm not doing this unless I receive this. And so that new insight that you receive around October 15th in that vision, in that dream, in that understanding is going to come from the King of Pentacles. He's whispering to you. He's telling you like you have mastered this understanding of this financial aspect. So pay attention. Something new is coming. Something's on the way. And the way that he shows you is he rights a wrong that had happened to you. And what it's going to do is it's going to bring up something in you, Capricorn, that makes you want to go inside and feel like, oh, okay, like, is there more for me? You start to feel like, is there more? Like you feel like you're going in to kind of like check in on yourself, which you typically don't do. You kind of just kind of like bulldoze through, but you're checking in on yourself because there's a feeling towards the end of the month of being pulled in multiple directions, and it's no longer working. The things that motivated you before are no longer working in the way that they used to work, because there's something that happens in the middle towards the end of the month for you, Capricorn, that's really going to change your way and your understanding of how things will be for you. And that new journey is going to start to emerge, especially in November. It's going to start to show up in new ways for you, Capricorn. So pay attention to whatever is coming up for you then. Okay. Hello, Aquarius, our oldest air sign that people think is a water sign. Okay, Aquarius, this is what's popping out for you. The Queen of Wands. And she is so fitting for you too. You're like, you got this energy of like, come on, sis. You know, Joe Biden, come on, man. Like, come on, sis. Like, you got this. Like, the Queen of Wands is whispering to you, you got this. You got this. Don't you worry about anything. The Seven of Cups. You're like, towards that second week of the month, you're like, I think this is where, there's like a, I don't want to say a challenge, but there's a feeling of like you were in the middle of something in the month of September, and the Queen of Wands is just sending you an extra little reminder. Hey, you might have been feeling like you're not as intuitive as you usually are. You're not as in touch as you usually are. And the Queen of Cups is like, nah, boo, you got this. No worries. And the Seven of Cups is saying, I think it's here. I think that's where it is. And the Wheel card is coming out towards the middle of the month. And it's saying like, hey, you're excellent, you know, at balancing. Like you're whatever comes up for you, you're going to be able to balance it very, very well. And then you have the Ten of Pentacles, which is ultimately wanting to have this security in your family life. So something feels a little bit off for you in the month of October, but it's not something new. It's something that came up in September that you're still working on. And the Hierophant at the end is kind of laughing with the Queen of Wands, because he's like, work with the universe, okay? Don't overthink it, boo. Work with the universe and you will get exactly what you need. And we have the Ace of Swords. So there's this rebirth. I feel like in September there was a metaphorical death for you, a new way of channeling that is coming up for you. The High Priestess, yeah, this is a very intuitive time for you, Aquarius. Judgment, oh dang, man, you got a lot going on for you in the month of October. But anyway, to jump in, there's this, it's like you received this kind of like psychic download, Aquarius, and that psychic download is saying like, you are being not just called to do something, but you have all the information you need. You are learning kind of this thing about like mastering the universe. And the Two of Swords is coming up because that's actually something that's been coming up in a lot of reads. And I think that this is honestly what the theme of October is probably talking about, where it's you feel like caught between two worlds. And for you, Aquarius, it's feeling caught between the past and caught between the future, caught between the old way of doing things that you know is not smart, that you know is very behind, that you know is no longer serving you good or anybody good. And you're receiving this in so many ways. The Queen of Wands is whispering to you like, hey, you can do this. And the Seven of Cups is indicating like, you know exactly where you should look. And when you jump in and you go into that journey of like, experiencing this thing, it's very internal, it's very psychic. You're having a very psychic month this month of October, Aquarius. You're going to be able to balance it beautifully. And there's this judgment of the soul where you feel like, I'm ready to take this next step. And ultimately, you're wanting two things. You're wanting a sense of security financially, physicality, having everything you need, and security emotionally. And that's everything within your family, your community, having all of that, having the significant other, having the children, having those things, or having a community if you don't want to have that kind of partnership, having that community that's there for you. And the Hierophant is like laughing and like, look, you can have that. No worries. Like, don't worry about it at all. You can have it. Flow with the energy. And you don't actually have to do anything, because there's this message that you are like, I don't know if it's this or that, but the universe is sending you messages that you don't even have to try. They're going to send you messages in the right direction to get you where you want to. But if you resist this, you're going to feel like you're bound, Aquarius, between two worlds. You're going to feel like you're kind of stuck and you're ready to move on, because what you're really good at is being forward thinking. But sometimes you can get caught in past ways of doing things that no longer serve you, but only people who know is you. You're really clever at hiding that kind of stuff. So the only people who know that you're, not living up or not connecting to ethically how you want to live life and experience life and morally live life is you, boo. So that's what you are going to be dealing with for the month of October, Aquarius. Very psychic month for you. So pay attention to your dreams. I believe that you're going to get a lot of visions within this month, or, understandings, or as they call it, psychic downloads. That's going to indicate, some new wisdom that really will deeply, deeply impact the month of October. And let's go ahead and jump into Pisces, our fish, our oldest sign. So Pisces, what you got going on? Because your individual read for the first week of October was all over the place. And it wasn't that you couldn't handle it. You can definitely handle it, Pisces. If there's any sign who can be at multiple places at one time, it is you. So let's see what your month of October is looking like. Already I feel pretty balanced. So the Magician, so I don't have to explain that to you, Pisces. You know how to work with the universe. The Hierophant has been coming up and kind of laughing at people like, haha, you were trying to move upstream. But for you, you're like, okay, I'm going to connect. Like in the beginning of the month, you already feel like I'm going to connect in with the universe. That King of Cups is indicating like how you're going to do it is you're going to go on this internal journey and you're not afraid to go on that journey. And the Ten of Cups and the Ten of Pentacles. So this month is bringing up for a lot of signs this sense of feeling comforted, both emotionally and physically. Feeling like, okay, I have everything that I need. And towards the end of the month, you are going to use your sorrows. You're going to use the kind of toxic things that didn't work for you to guide you forward. And you're able to do that because even in your sadness, you still have a sense of control of how you go about life. Even if you look like you're in a sense of despair, you could be planning, your greatest accomplishment, but it's really, you're just having multiple experiences at one time. And then back to the beginning of the month where there's this energy of this Queen of Swords, where she's saying like you have the Magician, you have the Queen of Swords, and you have the King of Cups. So you just get this new energy like this. To me, it's coming up it's just this boop. It popped right in your head and you're like, I need to do this. And you don't even question it. Like you're not critical of it. You're like, I need to do this, so I'm going to do this. And then you get that King of Cups who's like, okay, if you want to master this, you got to go inside. And if you do that inside work, it's going to give you the outcome you want. And you feel kind of torn between two worlds. You feel torn between, the day and the night, the light and the shadow, the up and the down. And so you're trying to manifest, or you're trying to analyze this internal and this external battle, internal and external world happening. Towards the middle of the month, October 15th, you're going to start to go on this new journey. And you're reminded that really what brings you comfort is feeling secure, making sure that your loved ones as well are feeling secure, both in emotions and money. And sometimes you like to be everything to everyone, but really it's at a moment where you have to look at your soul and you have to look at, is this the best thing to do? But I think you feel like I've done all I can do. In all of these ways, I feel like my soul is ready to evolve. And any sadness that may have come up from like maybe interactions that didn't work out in the way that you wanted to towards the end of the month are ultimately going to lead you forward to when you get to the end of the month and you're going to have this feeling of thinking like, okay, so what do I do next? Like, what is the next thing? Like, I think I'm getting this sensation that like you wanted to bring some people with you along in the journey. They're not going to be able to come with you. And even though you get to the other side, you're like, well, what's next? Don't worry. November is going to bring your what's next. And it's going to be all in tune. So Pisces, this was your read for the month of October. If you want to see your individual read for the first week, you can definitely check that out in the links below. Peace.